go to live.
Temsu also disconnected.
Okay. Yeah. So you are live now, and I think Bijen, you can start the session.
Okay. Anyway, so
We are live
good
now.
evening. Yeah. Respected professor, dear friends, and ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all. And at the outset, I would like to wish for a happy and prosperous new year to all the members. And today is the first day of our Tivlani weekly talk series for this new year 2021, and it is the 7th weekly talk since we started it from November 2020. So today among us we have our invited speaker. She is Dr. Bobita Sarangthem from Center for Endangered Languages, Tezpur University. And Dr. Bobita is working as an assistant professor at the Center for Endangered Language since 2016. And she is actively engaged in the documentation and the description of endangered and lesser known languages. So among his work, she initiated it from Onami language, which is spoken in Oinam Hills under Senapati district of Manipur. And her specializations are in the field of field linguistics, and the area of interest are in morphology and phonology. So she has published and she has given many talks in national and international seminar and workshop and other academic programs. Among her works, the function of the suffix lay as declarative marker in Maram, which was published in Himalayan Linguistics with Niharika Datta, is one of the significant ones, and she has already published a book from Tezpur University, which is a co-author book, and the book is a learner's book of the Oname language. And another book is also in the press as a co-author, which is a phonology volume on Biate, Rangkhol, Khelma, Liangmai, and Yumchungar. So Dr. Bobita is an active linguist from this region. So let me take this privilege to invite Dr. Bobita to deliver her talk on expressives in Meitei-Lom.
Thank you, Dr. Bijen, for having me here. Let me begin my talk entitled Expressive in Meitei-Lom. To begin with the very definition of expressive, when we talk about the morphological reduplications from the point of Abbi in 1990.
Excuse me, say, please put your slide in the full screen mode. Yeah. No, not there. Down there, see, just next to 80%, you can click, or simply F5 also will work.
Yeah.
You can press F5, then it will work. Yeah, there also no problem.
Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So once again, so when the topic is on expressives of Meitei-Lom, here when we talk with it, the very definitions, like the instances, it is one of the instances of morphological reduplication where the minimally meaningful and segmentally indivisible morphemes are constituted of iterated syllables. So onomatopoeic constructions, imitatives, sound symbolisms, mimic words are all examples of morphological reduplication, as the entire repeated structure here signifies a given meaning without allowing any morphological cut within. So when we move on from the very reduplication types as been put up by Abhi in 1990, in the recent development, we could find that the names of these particular groups being put up by different authors in a variety of names, maybe because of the close association of the term onomatopoeic with sound imitations. Words of this category have been given a variety of names by different authors, including expressive, idiophones, and mimetics. Now, when we move on with it, the very idiophones are marked words that depict sensory imagery found in many of the world's languages, is what in the year 2012, Ding Dingemans put up this statement that when we looked with the very different forms, after all, we can say that idiophones not only fall into different word classes, but also into a range of conceptual classes. They may demonstrate a characteristic phonology, morphology, or canonical form, but this is absent in some languages, even where the ideas they express are conserved. So to characterize this richness, it is helpful to switch to a larger class of expressives, a characteristic Asian terminology to encompass these ideas, where idiophones would just be a subset. It is what Roger Blanch in the year 2013 stated about the to solve the various variations in the terminology. Now, today's presentation is to highlight an adequate account of understanding onomatopoeia correlated with expressive, representing the sensory perception by using the metaphorical uses and its implications to physical characteristics. Now, in this paper, the very uses of metaphor on how an abstract notion is expressed in a concrete sensuous experience of the world through expressive is discussed in Meiteilon. The study highlights the importance of expressives to show how the speaker convey his feelings and impressions concerning the situation. So before we move on, let's have a very concept to be clear with the terms, what is metaphor? So metaphor can be defined as a set of correspondences or conceptual mappings between two conceptual domains. When we talk about two conceptual domains, means the concrete and the abstract. So where one of the domains, that is the concrete, helps us to understand or to structure it out and reason about the other domains, that is the abstract. This is what Lakoff in the year 1993 being put up. So moving on, why we are more with the metaphor is that it is a metaphor is pervasive, as per Lakoff and Johnson 2003 state that metaphor is pervasive in everyday life, not just in language, but in thought and action. Our ordinary conceptual system, in terms of which we both think and act, is fundamentally metaphorical in nature. The concepts that govern our thought are not just matters of the intellect. They also govern our everyday functioning down to the most mundane details. Our concept structure, what we perceive, how we get around in the world, and how we relate to other people. So our conceptual system thus plays a very central role in defining our everyday realities. Thus, we can move on that when we talk about expressive in Meiteilons, yes, it may depict auditory, visual, tactile, olfactory, and taste. Generally, the word formation of expressive may be onomatopoeic, that is sound imitative, or non-sound imitative. Thus, there are two types of expressives in Meiteilon, that is sound imitative, and the other is the non-sound imitative words. It is to be noted that expressives act as modifiers of verbs, or that is an adverbs, or it could be an adjective. For instance, sound imitative words such as proc proc, that is the crackle or the pop sound of fire, srit srit, that's denoting the slipperiness or slippery, ngarang ngarang, buzzing, bri bri, bubbling or boiling, jum jum, patter of rain, creme creme, crunchy, kuk kuk, heart, rigid, kong kong, jingling sound, dung dung, throbbing, fra fra, fluttering, it may be clods or a piece of paper. So what happened is that the sound imitative words from the above examples have the potential to modify the verb, especially adverbs of degree when we compare with the following example 1 and adverb of manners as that of the following example 2. Let's move on with it. Say the adverbs of degree, like no jum jum churi. Here, the very expressive jum jum from that of the sound imitating of the rain, what it shows is that the degree is that it is raining heavily. The chu or the verb fall, it is in such a way that it is raining very heavily, thus it signifies the adverbs of degree with this word. Again, moving on with the manner of adverb, like koimuna, ngarang ngarang ngangi. So this black bees is something make a noise, that noise, how it is explained with ngarang ngarang. Now, when we do have an imitative words, the other side, that is of the non-sound imitative words, such as tarang tarang, bright and clearly, mon mon, soft and cozy, thought thought, soft and tender, chanup, sticky, zing zing, tingling sensation, krang krang, gritty, karum, about to burn. Some of the some of this when we talk about the some of the common ways for the expression, when we talk about the expressions with it, it is worthy to note that both the sound imitative and non-sound imitative expressives functions as modifiers of verbs, that is, as the manner of adverbs. Again, for the tactile sense, such as tera monsi, uh, mon lawi. So here, this very word lao here gives the meaning of the sensation, the feeling, or the likes uh, when we talk about it. Now, again, why it's not moving here? Oh, sorry. Okay, let me, when we just, I missed out some points that when some of the common ways for the expression of visually sense events, like for instance, numitna tarang tarang thoi, here the sun shines, that is very bright and very clearly is being shown here. Same thing when we talk about the non-imitative sounds, it may also be used as an adjectives like taru taruba ising, or the crystal clear water. Now, when we again move on with the expressions that is of the, say, I should say the feel, when we say chanup or sticky, that is what the tactual event. When we say it can also be used to sense of taste also. For instance, chaksi chanup lawi. Here, the very word, when we talk about this, all the human perception sense, the very lao here say chaksi chanap lawi. Here lao is not the sound, but it is something that denotes that how you feel it, how you taste it when you eat that particular rice, cooked rice, which is in fact very, very sticky. So this cooked rice tastes very sticky. Furthermore, the tinkling sensation, such as jing jing, may be used for the tactile sense events, such as Aigi could say zing zing laure. Here, it means that I have a tinkling sensation in my hands. So, which is again been shown by this particular uh, uh, the uh, the words, I should say, that the lao or the very verbs where it is being modified by this the jing or the sensation tingling sensations, making it into the expressions. So interestingly, in Metalone, expressive are often used to emote senses of human perception in terms of metaphorical expressions, or it could be a very direct or non-metaphorically. For instance, um, when we looked with that sound imitative, which I have discussed in the previous slide, when you see that how it could be expressed from the point of metaphorical is such as "Aigi thawai prok prok tae." Here, we could see that the expressive prok prok indicates the repentance. However, some sense of causing or tending to cause annoyance, frustration, or worry are also embedded in this expression. There is no doubt that expressive, when we talk about it here in this sense, metaphorically, how it compared that your soul, that is something which is abstract, and the proper, the sound that is make the very visibility, or the, I should say, the concreteness when you see the that very particular thing, that how your soul is burning is being signified by using the connection, the mapping between that particular the Tawai or soul, which is abstract, to the concrete, that is of the prok prok sounds, which that comes off from the crackling of fire. So there is no doubt that expressive in metaphorical expressions are difficult to translate. When we compare the example, say in the example sentence number 8, if you see the literal meaning, "Aigi thawai propoksa," it could mean that my soul prok pok burns, means it's something for or a very non-native speaker or any other persons except the one which is a native speaker could understand what does it means. But that is what I want to emphasize here. Unless and until we know the context and the inner meaning of why we are relating this very word prok prok in showing that my soul is deeply or saddened or repentant, that is very much comparable with what you see when you burn a fire. That sounds that is being sound imitative prok prok being conceptually mapping and make it the abstract notions to understand through this concrete sensuous experience. Now, again, if you simply look at with the literal meanings, which is very direct in the case of non-metaphorical, say, when I simply say, Maidu propok chakli, means fire, the fire is burning. It's burning with some crackling sound. It's something very straight, direct meaning where from the literal meaning, you could understand that fire is burning with crackling sound. But when you compare it with the metaphorical expression, Aigi thawai propok sa is something that shows that to give a translation, there's problem in this in any of the language, because to have idioms or figuratives or metaphors are indeed very difficult for the translation. Again, moving on with I kudose bri bri sawatle. Here, the literal translation is the novel is boiling hot, which is something not related with, but when you express, this is something when you express it in a metaphorical, how it expresses is to mean the abstract notion of that is angry, that is the abstract notion of angry is expressed in terms of a concrete particular sensuous experience of ours, such as heat, that makes you to boil or boiling or bubbling. Henceforth, how your novel is being connected with that very sound brewery, making it that it gives out of heat, means you are damn or very getting very much angry, getting angry. That is what is being shown. So, but if it is on a very direct or the non-metaphorical statements, e bri bri tho e means it's very direct, which means that blood is profusely oozing out. So similarly, for the abstract notion of penniless. Now you see, when we talk about penniless, is again expressed, the very abstract notion of penniless is again expressed in terms of a concrete, particular sensuous experience by sound imitative such as kong kong, or that is given to a jingling sound, which is produced by hitting an empty metallic vessel. So this can also be expressed through metaphorical way, like Mahakti Mathun Kong Kong Lauri. So when it means to say that he has become penniless. In fact, the literal meaning is his buttock sounds Kong Kong, where you can make it to express through metaphors or metaphorically. Um, it shows that the express to mean the abstract notion of penniless, how it is, it connects with that of the sound being produced or by hitting an empty metallic vessel. That means he is completely penniless. So therefore, it helps us to structure and understand the reason about the abstract notion of penniless. But when we looked about in a direct ways, when we say Kong Kong Lao Makol, definitely it is now giving you these sounds, which is where what you hear is something that is of a jingling sound. Now, moving on, we can see that the, yes, why it's not moving next page? Oh, yeah. So further, considerable numbers of non-sound imitative words are found in this language expressing the event relating to the visual, tactile, or relating to sense of taste and olfactory. Say, for instance, if we use it from the point of metaphorically, wakalsi ipak pakjali. Here, it means my mind is murky. Why we're using this very word ipak pakjan? Pak means something that is of this astringent taste, where it's similar with it, because why is that it's not something where you can think in a very free flow, something you bound to be, you stuck with it, and you're as if you're immovable, something where it doesn't comes out freely. So that your thought is more, or I should say that it is something related with the murkiness. From where it comes, it is something that the test, we talk about estrogen as one of the 6 tests according to Ayurveda. You could see that even from the taste, the negativeness, when we talk about it's very sweet or it's very sour, but it's when we talk about ifak pakchan means it signifies something that is very astringent in taste, and henceforth your mind is something that is not what do you say, free flow or something, but it is something relating with very dumb or very murky or very in a confused state. So but when we talk about in a very direct way, haisi pagpai means this fruit has astringent taste. So even with the very say poetic or with any other aesthetic expression, also we can use it with this metaphoric lechilna is lechilna wauri wauri thangli. When we say that lechilna wauri wauri thangli means the sky is covered with somber clouds. So the featheredness or the what do you say, fading colorness is also something that shows that it is something that is of sober, with relating with that of the cloud. Now, when we say it in a very non-metaphorical or in a very simple way, Wauri Wauri Bamachu, then definitely it acts as an adjective which shows us that the color is something somewhat that is faded. So thus the conceptual mappings between two conceptual domains, that is the concrete represented by sound imitative and the abstract, where one of the domains, that is the concrete, helps us to structure, understand, and reason about the other domain is very common in this language. Then in Maidalon, yes, the extent to which expressive can be used, it varies from formal to informal speech, right? In an informal speech, to express certain emotions, as we have discussed in the previous slides, in example 9, when we look with that further, what we can see is that it is also, this very expressive is also used to draw attention to bodily characteristic, often in positive sense, as in 16th example, or it could be a negative sense, as in the 17th examples. Let's see. For instance, in 16, when it gives a positive sense, is that Mahakti English breng breng ngangi. Here, the very expressive breng breng, it shows that she speaks English very fluently. Breng breng in such a way, it's a very rapid, fast, fluting speeds or that flows. And in fact, it means to say that she, or it could be he, speaks English very fluently. But in a negative sense, when we talk about Mahaktiwa Chabing Chabing Ngangi, here the very thing it gives to mean that he or she speaks something that is irrelevant, or it is very irritating, or in fact, which is nonsense. So expressive is also used as formal speech in a dramatic dialogue or in poetry to express physical, mental, or in aesthetic expressions, such as Tanong Tanong Rabi Mai Thong. Here, the expressive Tanong Tanong Rabi Mai Thong, of course, it's the face, but it's often aesthetic expressions. It means to say your enchanting face. Same thing when we talk about, say, taha taha na chakinu, means don't go away hastily. It could also mean like taha tahawa means, hastily you decide any suggestion or any decisions is also something we use for it. So ultimately, it comes to a conclusions where you see that, like in any other South Asian and um, uh, South Asian and Southeast Asian languages, Meitei-Loan's expressive are found to exhibit a relationship with the sense of with the senses of human perception. In this paper, the uses of metaphor on how an abstract notion is expressed as a concrete sensuous experience of the world through expressive in Meitei-Loan has been discussed. The mapping of these so-called the sounds with cognitive perceptions to understand a reason abstract notion is also found to be prevalent within the speech community, and the extent to which expressive can be used varies from formal to informal speech. Expressive are indeed found to be very hard to translate unless the meanings associated with it are well understood. Thus, in future, a study on this topic in other Tibeto-Burman languages across Northeast India would definitely prove to be beneficial or for future understanding. And these are some of the references. And with this, come to the end. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bobita, for that insightful presentation. Especially for me, I enjoy the presentation. It was really interesting to me. So now it's the time for discussion and question and query. So the floor is open for question and query. Yes, so the participants can unmute and they can speak.
Mathun kong kong lao dunga si the khangi. Today only I have learned that mathun kong kong. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Welcome.
Meantime, when our other participants come forward, the one that expression like say mai prok prok chai, I think mai in some areas of Manipur I think people used to say like "mai prek prek chai" also.
Yeah,
Instead of
yeah,
prok prok,
yeah.
they used to
Or
say
prek
prek
prek.
prek. Yeah.
Yeah, the variations lies with it. Like some people also say "mai prek prek" or "prok prok." It varies, but then at the end, the sparklingness or the cracklingness of the sound is what we are showing when we want to express that. If we use it metaphorically, that your soul is burning, or your soul, you're upset, or your repentance. This is something that shows the relations.
I think prok prok is in a larger scale than prek prek.
Yeah. True. Very, very true.
Yeah.
Because that's how I want to supplement more is that even the uses varies with the terminologies used by the younger generations and with the older generations also. At some point of time, the uses when I come across it that only the older peoples know some terminologies which are prevalent in this expression, and the modern generations there lies some changes with that terms too. So there lies some variations in between.
Yeah, Uncle, do you have some more to put on, or you can share some observations also?
No, it was very interesting. I'm trying to correlate with my own language also.
Yes, yes.
See, this repetition, reduplications, I'm also working on it. Someday I may be able to present this also. But see, today this paper is very much giving me insightful, resource. Thank you very much. Really.
Welcome, sir.
Yes.
Bobita, it's been a very wonderful talk, and I just have one thing to ask.
Yes.
You mentioned that when it rains heavily, the expressive gem is used.
Jum.
So
Yeah.
it suddenly struck me, gem. So I was just wondering, because even in Dimasa, gem is related to wetness. So do you also use gem as in like when clothes are soaked, or if somebody is wet with the rain, then do you also call, oh, you are all gem now? Do you say like that, like you're all drenched? Is this also used with persons?
In fact, jum is something which we don't use it for wetness, but we refer with the rain, how it was heavily rained. And for the concept of wetness is not being covered under this jum. But what it relates more is that the intensity of the rain that has taken place is in fact very heavily. So it could, in other words, we can say wawa also. In fact, no wawa chure. That is also something that denotes that it is raining heavily. But jum is, that is what I said to some older people, they won't say wawa, but to a very younger generation, they may say wawa. No, wawa chure is also acceptable. But jum denotes the sounds itself, how the pattering of the rain is signifying, but it doesn't goes with that of the wetness, as you have said in the language in Dimasa, how it says with the wetness, it's not.
Okay.
Yes. There is a question from Redmi. I don't know who is it, but yeah, it was a very interesting, and I would like to know that can we treat all the expressive form as a modifier of the verbs or noun?
Like usually it's a modifier, no doubt. That is what I have started with the introduction, that whenever say for instance for us in Meiteilan, it is mostly the imitative sounds are of the adverbial class, henceforth it's a modifier. And hence even the adjective, yes, for reduplications also, this also acts as a modifier. So generally, we can say that it is a modifier, but not all expressive are modified to some extent. That also has to be known.
Yeah, if With the name Read Me, I couldn't recognize who is it. If you have something more to clarify, then you can unmute and speak.
And thanks, Pathang sir also checked in from Read Me.
Okay. Maybe he or she is satisfied with the speaker's answer. So yeah, meantime, I think I have a student among us. Mugalivi, can you hear me? She's working on the morphology of Sumi. So if you have some observation in your language which have a similar construction of what the speaker was presenting today, you can share something on that also in your language. I think she joined later, so I'm not sure she was able to catch up. Yes.
Yes, I was able. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
I was able to join when she started with that raining heavily one. And for us, yes, it is all. Yes, it is somehow similar, but when we use heavily in rain expression as bobo
Bobo.
for us in Sumi language. And
Mhm.
yes. And this bobo can occur as the expressive form of heavily only in the natural situation and not in the other situations. Like windy, it is windy, but heavily. When we want to put heavily, then we add bobo instead of the other word for heavily. Instead, the expression of the other word for heavily. We have the other word like kumzapu. Like, but it is expressed as many and not heavily. We don't have the exact word for heavily, but when we come to nature, it is only used as bobo to express heavily.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And any similar construction like in the presentation there was we were talking about the sparkling of the fire. Do you have any similar type of expression that the fire is going on, just to
Mm. Sparkling. As for the fire, we can say for the lights, like the stars, but for the fire, I'm not quite sure right now.
all right.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
As for the stars, we can say pupui pupui ikeni, but for the fire, I don't hear many people saying pupui ikeni like that. It is sparkling, the fire is sparkling like that, but we can say for the stars, yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting to know. Even though, yeah, she was a Sumi speaker and she's working on Sumi language also. So the
Yeah.
similar type of construction, yeah, the words may be different, but
Yeah.
being
You even
yes.
Sumi can also try in Sumi language whether such these things are prevalent. Of course, it will be. So you need to look further, and if you come up with some concrete substantiating this statement that these are the expressives which are able, then it would be more, yeah, for the languages spoken in Northeast is something which I want every of us to come together and put it with it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah, I think she will get some benefits from this presentation at least. So yes, the other members can unmute and speak. Yeah, we have some Manipuri speakers also with us. If they have any question, query, or observation, and any supplement, then they can share. And yes, Professor Dhiren Singha is with also asked, but he joined later. Sir, if you have any supplements or any observation, you can share with us, sir.
Yeah, design.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're audible,
It's a
sir.
very nice. It's a very nice talk. And I'm really enjoying the talk. So I don't have any
Thank you,
supplement,
sir.
but in fact, just one of the participants asked about the classes. So all expressives are modifiers or not, right? So that the speaker has already answered very clearly, quite satisfied. That's all. And but just I want to say that these
Thank you, sir.
expressives
Thank you.
are actually all about, this, how to say, they're behaving like, adverbs most of the time, but I
Yes,
don't know.
true.
It
Very
might be
true.
exactly. Yeah.
At some point of time, it acts as an adjective also. Yeah.
Yeah, acceptable. So yes. A very nice talk. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other participants who wants to make a question or query or any observation? Yeah, I'm not able to see anyone coming forward. Okay, so if we don't have any other question or query, then I would like to request Dr. Monali Longmalai to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Bijan, for this wonderful session that you have moderated, and very much thank you to our speaker for today, Dr. Bobita Sarangthem. It was a very wonderful and very enriching talk on knowing the expressives of Meithilon. I have come to know so many expressives, and each one of them has so many functions, not just one, which was very interesting. And then there were variants also for the same semanticity. So it was very interesting. And when I was looking at some examples in my mind, I was also comparing with my language, Dimasa, and I could see like there were so many cultural similarities even in the creation of or innovation of those expressives. So I'm sure that whatever you have mentioned in the conclusion, that we can look at it forward with more investigation with the other languages, and that might help, and it might bring it might bring more researchers on understanding the typology of expressives for TB languages in Northeast India. So with this note, I'd like to thank all the participants who have engaged in today's discussion, and thank you to all other participants who have been able to attend the program for today. And we will see you again in the next talk on Saturday. Okay. So I think we can announce for the next talk, Dr. Priyanku Sharma will be the next speaker, and we will soon announce the title of the talk in this coming week. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you to
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.